On today's video, we'll discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly. Stay tuned, it's coming up next. Hi everyone and welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel and you've somehow found me out there, well, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoyed the content today. For all my regular subscribers and viewers, welcome back everyone. Can't wait to talk to you in the comment sections. It's going to be epic. And remember, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and you are helping me get closer to that 10,000 subscribers and the party that will happen. And at the end of the video, remember, sometimes I put something in the box and that could be important when we get to 10,000 subscribers. Can't wait to see you guys there. Today's video is going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of MTG Finance. You know, in some ways when I started playing this game, I really didn't think much at all about the financial impact. I didn't think about it until I saw my first Inquest or Scry magazine that had the prices inside, saying this is what it's worth. Well, who determined that worth? I don't know. But over time, that game, that rule, the financial side, it started changing and switching. With the invention of the internet and the expansion, think about how far we've come since then. You can find out on tons of sites, websites, individual stores have buy lists. You will know what that card is worth, right? I know that if I take this Mox Sapphire and I look at it, it's going to be a $6,000 card. Well, hey, kudos to me, right? Moxman just made $6,000. I can trade this in for $6,000. Or can you? Just because a website says something is worth $6,000 doesn't really make it so. We all know this who have tried to sell cards. If you've tried to trade this in for profit, you realize you really can't get your money's worth from the card. If you trade it into a store, you're going to get about 50%, maybe 60% of the top end, unless you're trading for more cards. In that case, the store wins. If by chance you're selling to a private person, you can't ask for the top dollar. You usually have to go for 80% or 75% of the going rate of that card, depending on what Facebook group you're on or how you're doing it. If you're selling on an eBay platform, maybe you can get top dollar or close to what you're hoping to get, but you got to pay the fees, the shipping costs, the insurance, and the hassle of possible fraud. That's a lot to go over for a simple card, which means in the Magic the Gathering world of finance, it's not that liquid. It takes time and effort to sell your products, to sell the cards you might want to get rid of. When we think of vintage stuff, you think of really expensive cards. I get it. The old Legacy, the old cards, really a lot of money. When we look at newer cards, if I show up a handful of fetch lands to you, and you see $20, $30, $40 bills, I understand. Because when Modern Horizons 2 came out, they reprinted a whole bunch of fetch lands in. But does that mean I can get $20 for that card? $30, $40, $50, $60, $70? Not really. When Wizards made this beautiful game, they made it so some cards are on the reserve list, I understand that, and some cards can be reprinted. So when they decide they got to suppress the price of a card because it's getting too high on the secondary market, they will reprint something like a fetch land. They really printed a lot in Modern Horizons 2, and they really tried to push that price down to make it more affordable for players. But what really happened? Some players got a few cards cheap because they hit eBay and they bought them really quickly, especially those who watch my channel and pay attention to those price swings as they happened. But in other cases, stores bought them at the lower buy price and just held on, and I know it for a fact. So if they're holding on and they're willing to wait a year if they have to before they churn over and wait for those prices to slowly rise because the market's drying up, and Modern Horizons 2 isn't like it was in a standard product at 140 bucks Canadian a box. It was in Modern Horizons 2, which the collector boxes are like $510. So although you might get 4 fetches in there, which that's great, it's a lot of money to buy it, and you lose again if you try to trade it or sell it because you get less value than what it cost to get originally. So with Wizards raising their prices right now, it makes it more likely that people will be looking on the singles market, on the financial side, in the secondary market, through stores, eBay, TCG Player, card market, wherever you go, to buy their cards, which could bring us full circle to more problems in the market, because if people don't crack boxes, then we have a rising price on the single market, which could bring us back to maybe people have got to crack more boxes. Do you see the circle of how it goes? I'm sure when they invented this game and Richard Garfield put things together, they never intended for it to be this way, the way the game has evolved in the secondary market. It's not a very liquid asset. It is collectible. I understand there's tons of value. You can see it behind me on my screen right now. But at the same time, they wanted it a playable game. So I don't think they ever intended to be worth that much money, but that's what's happened. So if that's the hand we've been dealt, we have to find ways in the financial side to get what we want still. So when you're going to sell a card, you can see how ugly it gets. But the good side is unlike buying a toy and you open that toy and you play with the toy, it could become basically worth nothing, right? Some toys go up, but it could be worth nothing. But with Magic, some of these cards that have value, as long as you take care of them, put them in a sleeve, make sure they're protected, they hold value. Stocks in a company can go to zero. Your Magic cards don't usually go to zero. Now, people say Magic could fail. It can go out of business. I want you to think about that argument on the financial side of Magic the Gathering. It's not just Magic. Magic has huge backing from a massive company, Hasbro. But think about all the companies involved in Magic. The guys who make your sleeves, the deck protectors, the cases we carry them in, the dice that get made, the special counters and programs we use. Think about all those different pieces of the pie. Think about all the websites that just report on the prices. Think about YouTubers like me commenting on the game. When you think about all that, you realize how massive Magic is. It may not seem big compared to some other things in the world, but it has a very large following with a very dedicated group of people playing the game. And it seems to be slowly and slowly growing. When you look on the game and you see how many sets they've had, how far the game has come, you realize this financial side is real and it's here to stay. And although it may evolve and it may change, the way we get money from the game may change, you still have to find a way to liquidate these. I wonder if we're going to see people's collections in estate sales 40 years from now. I'm in my mid-40s now. What will that be like in my 80s and 90s if I passed away suddenly and no one knew what my game was? My kids didn't know. My son does. But let's say he didn't. Picture how that could go for someone. You might be finding these things at garage sales, in a thrift store by accident. You don't know 40 years from now. We know you don't find that stuff in stores now, but you might find it 20, 30 years from now as things change. But this financial side, getting your value for dollar, pay close attention before you trade anything to a store, sell anything. Make sure you are happy with the price you're getting. Because just because a website says that card is worth $6,000, you decide if that's $6,000 you want to pay. It may not be right. It's up to you to decide. When you take it in for an evaluation, you say, this is only moderately played. They say, no, man, that's heavy played. That could be a big money and value difference for dollar on your card. Remember, you don't have to accept it. You can take it somewhere else and you can find a different venue to sell your card. When you go to sell anything or trade anything, make sure it's something you're happy with. If not, and if you're not desperate for money, you don't do it. You hold on. You don't just sell it randomly to the first store that gives you an offer. Make sure it's what you want and think about things before you do it. Because in the financial side of Magic, there are lots of victims and there are lots of sharks out there waiting to take your money and take your value from your cards. That's why stores do things the way they do. Other richer players do what they have to do to make their money. And why huge guys, the whales of this game, have managed to suppress the secondary market, force prices down to make us dump our cards thinking we're losing money, and then they buy it up on the secondary market. Magic the Gathering is an amazing game. The financial side can be good, bad, or ugly, depending on what side of the fence you fall on. I look forward to talking to all of you and seeing your comments in the comment section at the end of this video to let me know how you feel about the financial side of Magic the Gathering. I look forward to talking with you about it more and more as the years go by. This is MTG Moxman. Thanks a lot for sticking with me today. Hope you had a great time. I hope you made it to the end of the video. I mean, we're there, right? You made it? You're at the end? Well, congratulations! You can put a boomstick in the comment section to let me know that you were one of the special few who made it to the end. Thanks a lot, guys. Good, the bad, and the ugly. It happens. Hey guys, big shout out to all my patrons out there. Patrons make the world go round, and I can say it, and I say it with enthusiasm because patrons, you rock. Have a great one, everyone. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Sometimes life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop to enjoy it sometimes, you can miss out. Have a great one, everyone.